Good evening. Welcome to the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. I want you to watch this video for a moment here. This is a tribute by Harrison Hill to former President Donald J. Trump. I took this clip from One American News. So watch.
If, by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on, if you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but are none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and, which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
Welcome back. This is a very true tribute to our former president, President Donald J. Trump. I got a question today. Will the Commander-in-Chief Joe Biden provide protection for the American people, or continue to rob us of our rights provided for us in the Declaration of Independence? Those rights being the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. He is opening up our borders and taking away our protections there. Soon we'll have no military, no border patrol, or even adequate police coverage to protect the American citizens, especially those along the border. I had thought, let's start directing illegals to head for Delaware and for Washington. He has taken away our jobs. He's ruining our economy, while those in Congress and the Senate idly sit by, allowing him to do so. What a sad time we're in right now. The Biden administration stands for everything that the majority of Americans are against, because he's taking away what we worked so hard to achieve. He's ruining the oil industry. Our gas prices, if you notice, have already gone up at the pumps. And in the near future, we will be back in the grip of OPEC, because Biden is now threatening to eliminate our hard work to achieve energy independence under Donald J. Trump. He has no plans to train anyone for these quote-unquote green new jobs. His press secretary has been asked several times, how does the president plan on moving forward with these green new jobs? Is he going to retrain people? And she continues to avoid the question, because President Biden's avoiding the question as well. They thought it's like thinking of a big plan or something and never thinking it out thoroughly. And a lot of times this is what the Democrats do. This is why they waste our taxpayer money sitting around Washington doing absolutely nothing except trying to impeach President Trump for the last 4, now going on 5 years. As many are struggling just to keep food on their tables, these things is behind crippling even more poorer communities. So the Democrats can go to them with promises of more handouts. Please don't give in. We can overcome this administration. God will make a way. Well, that's my opening statement. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with you here in a moment on the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert. Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the Voice of Truth. Well, on day 4, we have Mr. Swalwell continuing his garbage mouth thing that he has going on, because people, this is what the Democrats do. They put these people out there who have lousy reputations, bad characters, cheating on their wives for years. Even a new wife, he was cheating on her. He was with this woman before he even married his wife. Then he marries and continues an affair with her. Yet he is set to complain about somebody saying, bring the cavalry. We're bringing the cavalry. This is what Kelly Kramer put in a tweet to President Trump. And of course, they twist everything around. Why are you bringing this up for? That is a statement always has been made in this country in bringing help. Even though somebody comes, they say, look, we'll be there, we're bringing the cavalry. That's just an idiom in this country, bringing the cavalry. Huh. But of course, they twisted everything else in this country so we can look for Mr. Swalwell and his mouth to keep going off. How do we put these these corrupt people into office to speak to the American people? Who wants to listen to this man? Pretty much, most women I know, you probably should just turn him off, to tell you the truth. I wouldn't listen to a freaking thing he says. He's a man that cheats on his wife and then passes off like nothing's going on. Oh, I want to send my love to my wife and my babies. You didn't send your love for the last 5 years and you were screwing around with another woman. Well, that's another thing. Pardon my language, but it is the truth. In a press conference on Thursday, Governor Ron DeSantis, Republican governor from Florida, slams Joe Biden over reports that he plans to block people from traveling to Florida. And can we say this one word, people? Trump. That's the only reason he's coming out. They make all kinds of other excuses. But the only reason they're coming at the state of Florida is because Donald Trump is a citizen there in that state. DeSantis said Biden's reported plans to block people from traveling to the Sunshine State is unconstitutional. He of the Florida while allowing illegal immigrants to flood into the southern border of our country. DeSantis goes on to say, if you think about it, restricting the rights of Americans to travel freely throughout our country while allowing illegal aliens to pour across the southern border unmolested would be a ridiculous but very damaging farce. So we will oppose it. This is what Governor DeSantis has said. In response to this story, story came out of the Miami Herald, where Biden administration official stated anything that would help mitigate the spread of this pandemic, I would call it, the new mutation of the virus from the UK needs to be done. And what is going to say here, it says there is always some new strain. I said there's always some kind of new strain of virus. Always is. Now, if somebody says something, oh, it's a new strain of virus, what do we believe? Everything we hear? This was proven in most classes that we were coming up when I was younger. They would tell somebody something, and by the end they tell one kid something at the front of a room, then they go all around and have everybody repeat it. By the time it got back, it was nothing that sounded like it originally went out as. But this administration, I hate to say it, this administration wants to keep you in constant fear. They're fear mongers. They need to stop. But under this Biden administration, who knows? DeSantis said also Thursday, it cited Florida's coronavirus numbers, saying that by many metrics, things have gotten much better since December of last year. Well, we're going to, okay, here we go. Well, the Trump officials, Michael Glaser, the COO of Trump campaign, was talking in a conversation with Newsmax about this impeachment. He said that, I thought of this thing when I heard this, when he made this statement, I thought footloose and fancy free. But what he said is the statements that were made in the Senate by the Democrats were fact-free and emotional. Didn't have no facts in it whatsoever. It was just an emotional play. What did I tell you? It was like going to a cinema somewhere. If I really wanted to see this garbage, I could probably enjoy it as a movie, but not as a reality that's going on in our country. They did some great... Now, the guy who came and gave that great soliloquy, Mr. Swalwell, great soliloquy of really a bunch of lies, because he himself, which talked about his wife and his lovely children, cheated on him himself. So, of course, that's what we're dealing with in the Democrat Party, a bunch of cheaters and a bunch of fraudulent individuals. Just to a continuation of the attacks on President Trump. His lawyers will continue to speak for President Trump. This is what Mr. Glasner said when he was asked whether the president would appear. He will not appear, he said, but he'll allow his lawyers to continue to speak for President Trump. Well, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with you here again on a Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the Voice of Truth. Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the Voice of Truth. Well, Joe Biden is at it again. I didn't think he would go this low. But Joe Biden cuts off emergency military funding for the border wall. A measure President Trump put in place, he's calling it now unwarranted. Unwarranted? What the heck are you talking about, Mr. Biden? You want our borders to go unprotected? I live in a border state. The Biden administration continues its rampage against the Trump administration border policies, doing a major increase of illegal border crossings, i.e. emergency military fund, which provide much needed protection in an effort to attempt by a group who desires to attack our citizens. This emergency plan is in effect for a reason, Mr. Biden. There are people who desire to bring armies across our border to invade our country. And you're opening the border wide open. And as I said earlier, he wants to destroy our borders. He wants to destroy our border patrol. He wants to take down every protection we have. He is out of his freaking mind. On Thursday, he canceled the funding to our military for 2019 provided by President Donald J. Trump, a defunding of $25 billion for the wall's construction. Biden told Congress the president's declaration was unwarranted, as I said earlier. Mr. Biden, when do we prepare for attack? Or how do we prepare for attack after people are dying on our streets? When they're already in here, you already let Antifa and all them in here who have already been proven to have gone throughout the world to corrupt the world because of your wimp standings. I guess we are going to have to provide protection for ourselves. As I know many here in Texas have already. Our armed sales people around the country that listen to me has gone up exponentially in January. That's all I'll say about that. We need to impeach Biden for refusing to listen to the American people who are the governed according to the Declaration of Independence. How is he getting away with this garbage? This is what we call, and what really is, and this is a fact, because a lot of these policies and these things that Biden has signed executive orders on were policies that were legislated upon and passed. The border wall was President Trump went back and forth with the Democrats, Republicans, everything else, and they passed a bill to put the wall up and got funding for the wall. So, what is this? This is an abuse of power. I challenge the Democrat Party to stand up with some guts and start bringing impeachment charges on President Biden for his abuse of power and assisting in illegal border crossings and a direct attack on our economy and the police for the people. Yes, we need to fill out some articles of impeachment. I know there's some out there filled out by Miss Green, and I believe they still should get behind that. Our time is coming. Let's wait. We got to wait to 2022, which is only about a year from now. We're going to vote the Democrats out, put the Republicans back in control, and then let's impeach Joe Biden, because he is going to prove how he's violated, even with his own statements when he gave in that ABC interview. And for somebody to use executive order to change the legislative laws in this country, they are to be considered dictators. This came out of his own mouth in that conference with the ABC, George Stephanopoulos, whatever his name is. He is also planning to let people wait in the country while they wait for decisions on asylum claims to be heard. Now, who are going to feed these people? Who are going to clothe these people? Guess what? You, the American people. Trump implemented a Remain in Mexico policy in 2019, which, of course, he wants to overturn everything good, President Biden, which required them to wait in Mexico for a court date. Now, President Biden wants to put the financial expense on this nation for people who are asking for asylum to come in. What kind of sense does that make? Why do we take the burden on before we've even allowed them to have asylum? Makes no sense at all. Of course, we know Biden makes no sense. The DHS reporting they will allow them to stay if they have a negative COVID test. What the heck does that have to do with anything? We already have a vaccine. You should vaccinate them if you want to do that. And this will be at 3 points of entry into this country. Critics have said Biden's latest decisions are eroding border security and may invite more illegal immigrants unlawfully to cross the border. Of course, this is already a fact. You realize, people, it is already statistically proven that last year this time, 29,000 people came across, or illegals came across the border in the southern border. And now this year, because of Biden's statements, his executive orders, and all his other garbage, the number is 75,000 in January. And I dare say it's probably up over 100,000 now, because he just flung the gates open and have people standing out there. They're going to, what did I tell you? They're going to end up messing up with the Border Patrol, the military. They're pushing them out, pushing out their funding. People, we have got to do something. Biden unable to provide simple security and simple answers for his plans to protect our borders. He's bringing all these people across, everybody, and he has no freaking plan on how to do anything. They're already here, people. They're already coming. What are they going to do? Corral them in a prison? Pretty much that's about all they could do, except release them all across the country. That's what they want to do. What we're releasing, as President Trump said, has been clearly proven. We're releasing murderers, rapists, child molesters, and everything else across this border. I would tell you a story, but I might get in trouble for telling it. But there's a story of a gentleman that came across, and the people who listen to this, somebody knows what I'm talking about. Came across this country from El Salvador, came across the border illegal, came here and raped a 5-year-old in our country, one of his neighbors, because he came in illegally. He came across the border illegally. After serving 2 years, they deported his butt back. But he raped a 5-year-old little girl. Her life will never be the same. So, what do? Do we allow this garbage to go on? I'm calling on the Republican Party. You need to start bringing up referendums, do whatever you can, clog up the system, whatever you got to do to hold off these idiots until 2022, when we can take the Congress back into the Republican control, which we will do. Because the American people, even the Democrat voters should understand this fact. If you want to protect your borders and protect the citizens of this country, you better do something so that we can get some control on these borders and these things that our new president, Joe Biden, is allowing. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with you in a moment here on the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert. Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Now I want to share something with you, and this is very sad. It's a very sad situation, but this is a fact. So we have Democrats here. Now we see all these things that are going on, and we wonder, how is this stuff being allowed? Well, the question is not how is it being allowed, it is who is allowing it. I would say it is our Democratic National Convention. Those people in the Democrat Party, those leaders that are supposed to be leading in this country, are letting this country be shot to H-E-L-L. Okay, let's move on. An aide to Governor Cuomo, Democrat governor from New York State, reveals that New York State withheld nursing home COVID-19 death data. They withheld COVID-19 death data regarding the nursing homes in New York State. Andrew Cuomo, Democrat, has faced public scrutiny after one of his top aides revealed to officials his nursing home data on coronavirus infections and deaths were kept from the public. According to the New York Post, on Thursday, Secretary to Governor Cuomo, Melissa DeRosa, privately apologized during a video conference call to the state Democrat leaders while admitting Cuomo's administration deliberately withheld the Empire State's coronavirus nursing home death toll. She claimed officials, I'm not going to say she claimed, she's telling what she saw. She claimed officials, quote, froze out of fear while worrying the accurate numbers would be used by the federal prosecutors in a probe against the governor's office, OAN reports. They refused to cooperate with New York State and provided incorrect information. What do you think we need to do? I say we need to figure out a way to get Cuomo's behind out of office. Come on, people. I'm calling on the people in New York State. You got to do something about this. Create a petition. I don't know how much longer this man has in the office, but create a petition to have him removed from office. They did it in California. I don't know what's happening with that, but they're pretty close to the number where they can have his election, his thing revoked. Well, we need to do the same thing with Cuomo. He's a big liar. He's a big deceiver. And I hate to hear the man talk because I know he's lying. I know he's trying to deceive his people and also deceive the American people, as many Democrats have done. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in a moment here on the Black Conservative Voice with our closing. Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network. Well, what do I say, people? I hate reporting this. I remember when President Trump was in office, I had a lot of good news to report. Some news because the Democrats were attacking him, whatever. Well, there was a lot of good news under President Trump. Now, here we go right now, coming back with President Joe Biden with a bunch of negative news where he's coming back dismantling all the progress that was made under the Trump administration. This is pure foolishness. I don't mind people coming in and reconstructing certain policies that they disagree with, but when it comes to policies that directly affect and hurt the American people, I get mad. I get peed off completely because this is pure foolishness. The man's even attacking our gas prices. It's not bad enough he's putting the oil workers out of work and stopping the pipeline, but he's also trying to raise the price of gas. He wants to put additional taxes on gas. Who can say Democrat tax czars? They're always doing it. That's all they know how to do. Raise your taxes. I don't call it taxes, really. I call it lawyers' fees, because that's pretty much what it is. It's been difficult, people. I'm telling you, as a political reporter, dealing or talk show host, what do you want to call me? It's been very difficult for me reporting these things because I know that deceit, corruption is just being thrown under the bus or under the door. Push, get the broom out. Let's sweep it under the rug. That's the Democrats' moniker. That's what it should be. Let's sweep it under the rug, because that's exactly what they do on a constant basis. If anything goes wrong, somebody does something illegal in their party, what do they do? Sweep it under the rug. Let's talk about the Kennedys. Ugh. Sweep it under the rug. Murders, deaths, unexplained. Sweep it under the rug. They've done it for years, people. Years. Corruption. Overlooked. Let it pass. Let them get away with it. But if a Republican does something, maybe in his state or whatever, and he maybe embezzled something, not saying it's legal, but if he was a Democrat, he wouldn't have a problem. They let him get away with it. Oh, Lord, you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to tell you, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I want to thank you for joining us here on the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert, here on the CTM News Network. I thought we'd get away from these impeaching things, this impeachment talk. Really tired of it because it's pretty much a worthless subject, because they're not going to be able to do it. They can't carry it out. It's almost an impossibility, because you got 45, at least 44 senators against the darn thing, and it has to pass by 17 votes from the Republican side. I don't think it's going to happen. Okay, well, once again, I want to thank you for joining us here on the Black Conservative Voice, and I'm going to say what I always like to say to you. God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the world. Until next time, this is David Colbert from the CTM News Network, the voice of truth, saying good night and God bless.